Level up, 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 level up. This is the year, y'all. I can feel it. We are going to get into my full-blown strategy. I'm going to share my goals with y'all. If you have not, I actually went live this past Saturday, or on a Saturday whenever you're viewing this video. It was my first live ever on my channel, where I went into grave detail into setting my goals out for the year. And so in this video, if you haven't caught that live, go ahead and check it out. But in this video, I'm just going to give you like a brief synopsis of everything that I've done and detailed out for the first quarter, because I'm doing quarterly vision boards. I actually should have my vision board done by now. I'm going to pop it up on the screen so y'all can see my Q1 vision board. And we're going to get into my strategy and game plan to make all of these goals happen by the end of March. Hello, beautiful people from across the lands. It is your girl, Tashana Nicole. Join me on my journey to financial independence by eliminating debt, creating multiple streams of income, and inspiring others like you to dream again. And we are entering into the dream of achieving every single goal we set out in this beautiful and lovely year. And be sure to hang out to the end of the video, because there are some very powerful brain tricks that you can do to help you be consistent in making your goals a reality this year, because we're not playing. We are coming for all what is ours in this year. So let's get right into it. One of the biggest changes that I am making that I haven't done before when setting my goals is creating accountability. And the way I am doing that is two ways. One, I will be having a quarterly check-in with my family and very close friends. We've already agreed, because we had our vision board party and we all kind of like created our boards and things of that nature. And so we agreed on a quarterly basis we're going to come back and continue to meet with each other to hold each other accountable. As I began to do some digging and research for my videos, I found that weekly check-ins is actually a lot more powerful than quarterly. And that was a study that was done by Dr. Matthews, a psychologist, who found that you increase your chances of achieving your goals by 42% when you write them down. And she also found that those who did weekly progress check-ins increased it even more. And so the way that I am doing that by creating accountability is I'm going live. Right now it's every Saturday. Don't hold me to it, but I think right now Saturday is a good day for me to go live consistently. If I change my day, I'll let y'all know. But I already did my first live, and so I basically just share, my strategies, my goals, and that way for me, as I'm sharing with my community, I want y'all to share with me, because I want my lives to eventually get to a point where I'm just not up there talking and sharing all of my goals, but I want y'all to be able to check in and say, hey, this is what I've completed so far. This is what I'm working on, because there's a nice vibe happening here on this my little corner of the internet in the hopeful community, and I want to create that accountability so I don't get comfortable, or I don't wait even to the end of the quarter to like slack and not take consistent action. It's creating a pressure under me to realize, oh snap, I'm gonna have to talk to my people on Saturday, and I want to be able to give out a good report. And so that accountability is going to be key in increasing your chances of being successful and leveling up this year. The way I structured my goals was also very different than I've ever done it before. I used the SMART formula, which is, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And so I made sure that all of my goals kind of fit that framework. But what I did this time very differently is that I acknowledge what is my starting point. So for example, I want to grow, one of my goals is I want to grow my YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers. So I realized, okay, if I know I want to grow my channel to 10,000 subscribers, where am I currently right now? And my starting point by the recording of this video, I'm at about 3.5 thousand subscribers. So that leaves me with a difference of about 6,500, right? That's the right math. Yeah, about 6,500 more that I have to go. And so as I'm writing out my goals, I'm realizing, okay, what is my starting point? Where am I actually starting at? So I can see realistically what is the gap in between where I am to where I want to be. And so whatever goal that you have, maybe you have a weight loss goal or a weight gain goal like your girl, what is your starting point of where you are and where is it that you want to be? So that way, when you're creating the action steps, that helped me get really clear on, okay, realistically, what do I need to do on a consistent basis to get me from point A to point B? And I've actually, even though I've used the SMART goal method, I never really got super intentional about my starting point. Oftentimes when we're setting a goal is that we really need to realize where we are to get to where we're going. And so as I've identified the beginning to the end goal, that in between is where I'm going to create my action plan and kind of identify what I need to do to make this goal a reality. Now, there are a couple of powerful inspiration strategies that you can do to kind of help put a little extra razzle dazzle on your goal planning strategy. And the first, I actually got inspired by the streamer Kia Cenat. I'm not in his demographic of viewers, but he has a lot of content that has gone relatively viral that just kind of spread across many different demographics, and I have consumed some of his content. And I came across his video when he was doing a 30-day straight day of going streaming every day. Apparently that's like, you know, some type of record or whatever in the streaming world that he wanted to break. And what he did that I thought was really, really cool is that at the end of him completing that streaming challenge that he set for himself, he posted a video that he recorded talking to himself before he actually started the streaming challenge.
Here's my message to myself. I hope you're proud of where you're at. I don't know where you're at. If you broke the record, congratulations. You're just seeing the idea turn into some reality. And your 16-year-old, 13-year-old, 14, 15-year-old self would be so happy for you. Would be so happy of what you're doing. You feel what I'm saying?
And so in that video, he basically was just talking to himself like, hey, you're about to do this amazing, challenging thing. I'm rooting for you. I'm excited for you. I think we're going to hit it. And he was like, you know, I kind of think we're going to hit around like this range, you know, you at the end, like celebrate. Like he was already speaking to his future self as if the goal had already happened and has already completed. And which was so cool in that video is that where he thought he was going to land, he went way beyond what his expectations was, even for himself. And I'm like, I like that. And as I began to look into that, there actually is some science behind that inspiration video that Kai got into, and I'm going to break down some of those key factors of what that is. So one of the things you want to do is create visual cues. So you want to take that internal thought of the goals that you have and make it more external. And you can do that by doing your vision board, writing your goals down, or even something super powerful that Kia Cenat did of actually creating a video of you talking to yourself as if you actually already achieved the goal and what is the end result or what you're expecting or hoping that is to come. That way, that information that's kind of stored up on the inside, you're putting on the outside of your atmosphere, and you have those visual cues that you can go back and reference. Now, I can only imagine like when Kai recorded that video, he may have like kind of, you know, viewed the video a couple times before he entered into his challenge of going 30 days straight into the live stream. But to me, it seems like a lot more powerful to kind of speak to yourself in the future tense as if it's already happened. Similar to what we're doing on our vision boards. We're kind of putting a vision together and piecing it together in a way of what we want our reality to be in the future tense. So having that external information kind of be out in the atmosphere, create visual cues that is going to be really, really powerful to keep you motivated and moving towards achieving that goal. Now, our brain is taking in and throwing out information all day, every day. And honestly, because of technology and just like the overstimulation of like social media, our brain is sometimes on overload and just throwing stuff away that it doesn't deem valuable. So what you want to happen in that process is you want your goals to kind of get stored in your long-term memory and not your short-term memory as insignificant information that's not going to matter. And there's a certain part of the brain called the hippocampus that's actually doing this process of the brain. I hope I said that right. Hippocampus, hippopotamus, whatever. It's the hippocampus of the brain that is kind of processing these information that's going in and out. And it's like, okay, this is information that we actually need to hold on to, and this is information we need to throw away. And to kind of trigger that part of your brain when you are writing things down and when you are creating those visual cues, is letting your brain know like, oh, this is valuable information that we need to hold on to and not throw away. So that way you are more likely to be inconsistent and you're not kind of like, you know, not doing the actions that you need to do to make your goal into reality, because it's being stored into that long-term thinking, long-term memory part of the brain, is that this is something valuable that we need to hold on to. So when you have those visual cues and you're actually writing it down, it's stimulating that part of the brain to trigger it to say, hey, this is long-term memory or something that we need to hold on to. So let's make sure we keep this here and throw out the other stuff that don't matter. And another powerful brain trick is called the generation effect. And this is when your brain is more likely to remember something is because you created yourself. So when you wrote that goal down or when you created that vision board, you're stimulating your brain in a way to kind of trigger it to realize like, this is important information I need to keep. And this is important information that I need to hold on to. Also, with the generational effect, you're not only writing it down, but you're imagining and thinking about it actually happening. So when you take writing it down and then putting it in that future tense, whether you're writing that video to yourself or maybe even writing a letter, a letter to me in 90 days, like, congratulations, girl, you passed your LMSW, you, put $10,000 into your savings, blah, blah, blah. And you're reading that and kind of, triggering your brain to believe or put yourself in a sense as if this already happened. So when you're kind of creating that generation effect on the brain, is keeping you motivated to achieve that. So again, the generation effect, it has two parts: writing it down, creating it yourself, whether it be on a vision board, writing your goals down, and then imagine it in the future tense as if it has already happened, whether it be a video to yourself or a form of a letter to yourself in the future tense that this thing that you set out to do has actually happened. The key takeaway with these brain tricks is that you want to have your memory and your motivation to kind of reinforce you to stay consistent. So that memory is going to happen as you're writing the goals down, as you're creating your vision board, and that motivation is going to happen when you're kind of creating that future tense self or future self as if it has already happened and keeping that in the forefront of you, whether it be in a letter form or in a video form. So think of that long-term memory, having your hippocampus part of the brain, I hope I'm saying it right, part of the brain being activated to realize like, this is information I need to hold on to, but then also triggering that, dopamine, if you will, to keep you motivated and kind of imagine it as if this thing is going to actually happen. And I feel like with quarterly planning, because you kind of have that extra layer of intensity and urgency to realize like, okay, I got, like 90 days to complete the goals that I set out. You're kind of adding these extra little pieces on there is going to help you stay consistent and build the behaviors that you need to actually make these goals happen in real time. One of the things that I am going to do consistently is make sure that I'm placing myself in future Tashana. I need to view myself in a way that everything that I want and that I'm asking for this year is actually going to happen, and getting excited about it, because that means this year is really just going to be a year to remember. And I am super excited to record it in real time so I can go back and look back at myself like, girl, you knew what you was talking about. Like, you made it happen. And I want that for you. Imagine your future self as often, as daily as you can. But most importantly, you have to take the action. A plan that is not written down isn't a plan at all. And we learned how powerful it is to have written down goals and to have that future self and kind of that future tense as if it has already happened. Let it be so. Okay, so I hope you found this information helpful. I'm super excited for you and for me for this year, regardless of everything that's going on around us. We're not going to let that dampen our mood or our belief that 2025 is going to be the year to thrive. Mark my words. And until next time, remember to dream, believe, and achieve.